So let's talk about basic voice care. How do you look after this extraordinary instrument that you have right here in your body? I would just begin by saying that whatever happens to your health, to your stress levels, to your levels of fatigue, to your basic wellness, tends to show up in your voice almost immediately. So if you are dehydrated, or if you haven't been sleeping well, if you're stressed, or you have a lot of physical tension, because all of those muscles run in and around your vocal folds, your larynx, we will hear that in the voice. So you need to think and work holistically when you're looking at how to look after your voice. It's not just about any particular exercise that might just work on the muscles of the larynx. You're wanting to look at the whole body and think about, how do I work efficiently and prepare myself in the best way for performance, for audition? Maybe you're doing a voiceover. How do I look after my instrument? It's by looking after yourself. So what I would recommend to begin with is just check physical tension in the head, neck, and shoulders. That's the most immediate area where you'll start to feel an influence on the voice. From there, just look at full body connection, checking in with your breath to make sure that you're not working atop a body that's trying to work in contrast to what you're wanting to achieve vocally. So some release work on the floor, some flexibility exercises to get you feeling like you are long and open in terms of the alignment of your spine, the width across your back, the width across your chest, and that feeling that you have as much ease in and around the throat as possible. All of that will set you up for a good vocal positioning to begin. If we're thinking about the elements that can affect your vocal health, things like dehydration are certainly a factor. So there's lots of different thoughts, lots of different readings about what can contribute and not best contribute to hydrating the voice. You'll have some people who will swear by steaming or making the room nice and moist in terms of the atmosphere so that you're not working with too dry an atmosphere. There are some people who don't think any of that is necessary and don't feel that that's the best thing for their voice. What's really important is that you find out what works best for you. If you're taking a medication that you know dries you out, or there are lifestyle factors that are contributing to that sense of dryness, just think about, how do I compensate for that? How do I recognize the fact that the vocal folds themselves in your throat, they want to be warm, they want to be moist, they want to be clean. So if you have any elements within your life that are affecting that, how do you counterbalance that? And how do you make sure that you are match fit when you need to be? On that front, what I would recommend is just thinking about how to map your vocal fitness as you head perhaps towards rehearsal. I think sometimes people can get the job, show up for rehearsals, and then think, well, I'll get fit across the rehearsal period. But if you arrive in rehearsals and you don't really feel as though you have your whole instrument, you have your whole imagination available to you, then you're taking some of the cards off the table. So I would always recommend that you're thinking about working towards match fitness for the start of rehearsals rather than for the start of performances. Speaking of performances, when we get to that point, hooray! When we're back in the theatre again, it's great to do a good voice warm-up that incorporates physical release. Think about the things that get your larynx feeling like it's in its best position for the work that you have to do. If you have extreme voice in the show, which is something that we'll talk about in another video, you might want to be just working your way up to where the voice is best placed for the start of performance. If you have a lot of dialogue in a performance, you don't have to be completely ready to go for that high vocal moment in Act 2 at the start of the show. You can use part of the show to help warm you up. But if it's something where you need to do a bit of physical release work so that you perhaps may have finished last night's show, maybe there's a big vocal number or a shout or a scream, an argument of some sort, something that's extreme vocal work, hopefully what you did at the end of the previous night's performance, it is a bit of a warm down. So just 5 minutes of humming, 5 minutes of easing the larynx back to where you want it to be, and you're set for the following day. So when you get to the next day's performance, do the warm-up that feels like it prepares you best for the work that you know that you need to chart and make your way into across the performance. And then do that little warm down, that little 5 minutes of just humming, a little bit of sirening, perhaps that gentle easing down through the vocal range, just to get your larynx to settle a little bit. And if you need to do a bit of physical release work, if it's an emotionally demanding show, you don't want to take that tension to bed. You don't want to take that character's tension with you into life. So just do a little bit of something to release that. The larynx settles back to its habitual place, and you are ready and prepped for the next day. So think about your hydration, think about the lifestyle factors that you need to be taking into account when you're looking after your instrument. Work towards the vocal goals from a few weeks and a few months before you actually need to get where you're wanting to go. Do the warm up and the warm down on the day, and enjoy this extraordinary instrument that you have.